Give me 1 second while it starts the live stream. Okay, good evening, everybody. It is January 19th at 7:32. We're going to go ahead and call the Executive Committee meeting of the Libertarian Party of Florida to order at 7:32 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Go ahead and want to call the roll, Madam Secretary.
Yeah, 1 sec. Yeah, the other absence is James is not feeling well, and Scott will be his proxy.
Is Scott not already a director at large?
He is.
So how can he be a proxy if he's already got a vote? Just curious.
He gets a second vote. That's
Okay, just curious. I wasn't sure if that was the way that works, so that's my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I had a brain fart too, so it's not just. Yeah, I forgot that Scott was now a Dow, and I was like, wait, isn't there an alternate? But no, it works. It still counts as an excused absence for him because there is no region rep that like alternate for that region. But yeah,
Gotcha.
The vote goes to Scott. Matt Johnson,
I'm here.
Ed Appler.
Present.
I'm here mostly. Joe Sokol.
Here.
David Moskrit.
I'm here.
Scott Nicholson, I hope you're here.
I'm here.
And we already discussed Lee is not going to be here. He's excused. Joe Hanoush.
Yeah.
Joey Ferguson. Is Joey on?
I don't see him.
Okay. Is Robert Vincent on?
Don't see him.
If anyone wants to reach out, please do. Leon?
Here.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw her. DL is excused. He may join us later. Andrew Parrott.
Here.
Beth Johnson.
Here.
Eric Cordova.
I'm here.
Eric Montgomery. I don't see him. Can somebody ping him? He doesn't usually miss. Jim Leggett.
Here.
James is out. John Taff.
Yes.
There he is. Deanna.
Here.
Jessica.
Here.
Also, Jessica is not feeling well, so she is powering through it, but she probably will not speak too much.
Hey, Lisa, just letting you know, I shot a message to Rob just in case he's available.
We have 15 people here, 3 absent, and 3 excused. That may change to a little bit, but we do have quorum.
Sounds good. All right. That brings us to public comment. 10 minutes for anyone who is not currently on the executive committee. If you would like to address the board, the time is now. Feel free to raise your hand and I will give you the mic. The only ones I see really are committee chairs and the EC.
We have Carl here as well.
Oh, Carl. Yep, Carl's here. Were you just here to watch and listen, or did you have? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, without further ado, since he's the only one, we will move right along to item number 5 on the agenda. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Ms. Skansky. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I heard 2, but I heard Joe.
I heard Sokol.
That's who I heard for sure. So we'll give Joe the second. Any discussion or objection to the motion to approve the agenda? Okay, I would like to motion to amend the agenda to include the motion regarding the CPA engagement letter. Ms. Gansky has posted it into the chat. Move to we adopt and sign the engagement letter with our current CPA firm that we have been using for as long as I've been involved, Garcia and Ortiz, in order to complete the compilation of all of our financial records for 2024. Rationale, we've historically used this firm. It's usually rubber stamped by the board. As far as I can remember, Mr. Appler maybe as probably one of the longest tenured members on the board. Do you have something further that you can add here? But usually we just pass this either in an email ballot or it just gets done. And I didn't want to do that. I got the email after our last meeting and wanted to get it to the board. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll make the second.
Seconded by
Are we
Mr.
gonna have a
Moshko.
chance to comment on this?
Yes, sir, right now. Now that it's been seconded, yes, you may. I see your hand up first, so you have the floor, Mr. Sokol.
Okay, so I haven't read it, but I've been reading emails back and forth. The price is actually cheap, but I could do this. So I don't know if it has to be a CPA or not. All he's doing is taking the 12 reports that I report, and
Mhm.
make it into an annual report. So I don't know if it's required that I'm not a licensed CPA. I want to make that clear, but this is simple for me to do.
Can somebody check with Stephen Nikala would know if somebody can message him and ask him if he knows the answer or even call him right now. That way we can include it now. We'll include it, and when we get there, hopefully we have an answer. I was under the impression we needed it to be a CPA, but I could be wrong.
That was my understanding as well, but again,
Right.
I could be wrong.
That makes sense.
I'm calling
But
him now.
If you
Thank
look
you,
at
David.
this and you look at my monthly reports,
Mhm.
they're very similar. So, but
It'd be nice
that
to save the
may
money.
be the case that you have to have a CPA do it.
While David is calling Mr. Nikala, Mr. Hanush.
Yeah, I was going to share the same sentiment that our treasurer, Joe Sokol, was saying. If it's the same kind of audit that the county affiliates do, this is something I could do also. This is really not a big deal as far as I understand it. It just takes probably a few hours to do, and that's it. So unless there's
Our rules chair has chimed in that a third-party audit is likely required.
is that like by state statute?
John, would you like to speak up? Mr. Thompson?
Yes, I'll have to check that because I know I follow what Joe's saying. Mr. Hanush is saying about it because this is how we handle it at the county level as well, is only doing it internally. But I'm not sure if it's something different because I appreciate the question because it's something we've always done. We've always had a third party audit, and I want to say that it's required, but I'm not. But I can't put my finger on it if it is
I
100%
just got off the
required.
phone with Stephen whenever you guys want to hear what he said.
Yep.
He said this is, as far as he knows, this is an internal thing, but he's not sure if it has to be done by a third party. He said it's not considered an audit, it's considered a compilation. But he said if we're going to change what we're doing, he would recommend we talk to the Florida Department or Division of Elections before we change what we're doing. So if we want to change what we're doing, I'm just going to throw this out there, is we probably need to delay what we're voting on until the next meeting or for an email, something like that, because there's going to be more information needed before we make that decision.
My question to that would be when it's due. Do we have time to table it until February, the third week of February, or is it due within that time frame where it's necessary?
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Can we pass if necessary? Can we add that to the language? Like, I guess we could pass it, but only use it if necessary. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, I like that idea.
Sure, that makes sense. We've done that in the past where a budget of up to, and it's been less, and so we didn't. So I mean, I'm fine with that. Mr. Paff, I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to move to postpone it until the February meeting. However, I had the same question about the due date of this.
I'd rather.
I'm just gonna let. I'm sorry.
Can I chime in really quick,
Yeah,
guys?
yeah. Go ahead.
I'd rather us do the if necessary option. Reason being, this is kind of time. There is a deadline. I don't know what it is, but I'd rather us not have. I don't want to have to chase people doing email ballots again. So if we can just pass it, and then if we don't need it, well, that's like sort of our prerogative here because we want to save money. And so then Matt is ready to go if it turns out we do need to do third party. I'd like us to go that route.
So it sounds like an amendment to the amendment is required. Wait, I see Mr. Sokol and Mr. Musgrove.
Yeah, I think we just need to add in the like 2 words at the end of your motion saying if necessary. That's it.
I'll make that motion for amending.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Hanush, seconded by Mr. Sokol. Did you have something additional to add?
Just real quick, 2 things. I'm looking at the one they filed last year and they filed it on April 1st. I don't
Okay,
know
so-
when it's due. And also, if they don't do it this year and I'm not going to be around next year, are they going to be willing to do it next year? I don't know if that matters. Just making that statement.
Good point. Thank you. Mr. Musgrove.
Yeah, I was going to say this is not scientific at all, but looking it up, it looks like the report is not due until the end of April, which kind of coincides with what Joe said.
Which gives us time to figure it out whether it's required to have a third party or an actual CPA, or if we choose to do it ourselves, if they'll do it again should the need arise in 2025 for 2025. So with that said, are we sticking with the current motion as amended to the amended?
I would say yes.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
I have a question.
Fire away, Mr. Appler.
Are we not still on the approval of the agenda? Shouldn't this
We are,
motion,
yes, we are on currently.
shouldn't this motion come up and be up for a vote later in the agenda?
That's a good point. Thank you, sir. Good catch. Technically, we were only moving to amend the agenda. We have to wait till it's added to the agenda to amend the motion. Thank you, sir. So, shall we put it on the agenda and then amend it? That's where we're at.
So David Musgrove seconded. Let's just vote on that. So adding it to the agenda, we just need to do that. That's what we need to do now.
Yep. All right. So any further discussion? Let's go ahead and get this vote. All those in favor of adding it to the agenda that it may be amended later, say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda has been amended. Now back to the main motion to approve the agenda as amended with the new motion. Mr. Musgrove.
Yeah, I just want to ask who is on the label that says iPhone, just so that we know who's in the room.
Oh, that's a new one. That's a good question.
iPhone, who are you?
Michael Smith.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Smitty. Gotcha. All right. Right. So Mac on the main motion, Mr. Paff.
Yeah, I'm not, we normally we make a motion every meeting, and I would like to make that motion unless somebody more qualified than me can make it. That we pass over the monthly reports. Now I'm trying to think of which ones we pass over. I'm thinking, want to pass over.
I
Yes,
can make that agenda, Mr. Path, or
I'm
that
too,
motion.
yeah, prior
Hi.
to becoming chair, I was the one that made that motion, and it was all reports, including the LNC report, that have already been added to bulletin board. However, I'm going to interject on Lisa's behalf because I know what she's about to say. Against my better judgment, it has been brought to my attention that there are some members who, instead of reading these reports in their free time, would rather hear from every committee and every member of the EC on what is going on. So that said, if somebody wants to make the motion and do with it what you will.
Can I
But I wanted to make that out there.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to slightly change what Matt just said. I would like to hear from our committees at least once. We haven't heard from people in a long time. There are people who have never spoken. We don't know what's going on. We also have a couple new region reps. I think it would be beneficial for us to hear, especially the new people, to hear what's going on. That's my reason for wanting us to skipping everything again, because there's zero accountability. Josh did not do a good job of holding people accountable that have titles who are just not, they're just coasting and they're not doing anything. So I'd like to hear from people. That's it.
So might I suggest we have the motion and a second, maybe debate / modify with said people in mind who you would like to hear from?
I would like to hear
Just
from
a suggestion.
everybody. We haven't heard from everybody. Like we hear only from the people who don't do the reports. And there's a lot of people that I would like to hear from. That's it. I don't want to call anyone out. I just would like to hear from people. And I think like we have both Eric Cordova and Jessica Boudreau who have recently joined. And I think it would be beneficial for us to once hear it, like maybe once a quarter we do this.
Okay, so I'm calling us back to the orders of the day. Is there such a motion desired?
Yeah, I mean, I'll second that, or I'll make the motion, whichever one we're doing. I would like to hear reports. I
There
haven't.
doesn't be a motion if we're just hearing the reports.
I mean, they're already on the agenda. So if we want to hear everybody's reports and what everybody's got going on in every committee and every executive committee meeting, then nothing has to be said. We just continue on with the agenda as is written. However, if somebody would like to save us all some time and make the motion to amend, then have at it.
If we do this, can we set a time limit for these reports so we're not
There's a
here
time
until
limit.
9:00?
Sure.
The
Whoever makes the motion can include a time limit. By all
There's a
means.
time limit, guys, already. There's a time limit of 5 minutes for committees, and there's a time limit of 2 minutes for everyone else. I would say you don't have to use all 5 minutes. So, yeah, there is a time limit built in if you look at the agenda. David has a question. Can he go next? Matt?
Fire away, Mr. Moscow.
Yeah, I would just say I would love to hear from everybody, but can we make? I don't know what's happening.
What's
We're
up?
gonna get back from Smitty.
Go take a shower.
Matt, can you mute him maybe? I know it's hard to do from the
I
phone.
think it's Smitty.
I
Oh,
got
there
it.
we go.
I got it.
All right.
He's
Yeah.
muted.
I would just say, I would like to hear from everybody, but I think that what we're talking about can be accomplished in 1 minute or less from everybody. So I was just going to make a motion to, the reporting can be 1 minute or less.
I like it. I'll second.
Is there a second? Ms. Skansky seconds. Mr. Paff, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I guess my thought was I'd like to hear from people too. I agree with Ms. Gansky that there is a lack of accountability if everybody just gets to sit quiet. But my suggestion would be to do committee reports this month and do the directors and do officers reports and rotate this on a monthly basis so that everybody was heard from once a quarter.
That sounds like a new motion or an
That would
amendment to
sound
the
like
motion.
I would amend, I would
Like
replace.
that, John. I would also say that I think we have one committee person is not here today, and then there's a bunch of region reps who are gone. So I think that would actually be a good order to go in if we did committee reports today, and then next month we do region reports.
Yeah, and I think this way it sets a notice that this is what's being expected from you next month. So I would make that as a replacement motion that this month we do committee reports. Next month and I would include with that the LNC report if there is one. And then next month we do officers and directors at large and region reports.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Paff, seconded by Ms. Gansky. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. We have an amended motion. So now we're back to the main motion where we hear LNC report and committee reports this meeting. And then next meeting is officers and directors at large. Is that my correct understanding of your motion?
Except that region reports would also be included with the directors at large.
Okay, so next month is EC, this month is LNC and
Meeting.
committees. Okay. All right. Any further discussion on this particular motion? I see Mr. Paff's hand still up. I don't know if he just forgot to take it down. I'm going to assume that's the case.
Yes, I forgot to take it down.
Okay, awesome. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, LNC report is next on the agenda. Oh, no, take that back. The agenda.
Quick comment too about this.
Fire away.
So I just want to let everybody know we have migrated the minutes. They were available now on Google Drive. There's been a little storage capacity issues with LPDA, so we will still upload them to LPDA, but the place of record will be on Google Drive on this link.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you, Madam Secretary. We are now back to the main motion of the agenda. Am I correct? Now that we have amended the amended and the amendment?
We did that. Now we're on the approval of previous meetings minutes.
Okay. Item number 6, then approval of the previous meetings minutes, which are listed in the agenda. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve this previous minutes.
Moved by Mr. Sokol. Is there a second? That was Mr. Nicholson, I believe. I saw the mute. All right. Moved by Mr. Sokol, seconded by Mr. Nicholson. Any discussion? No hands. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Okay, that brings us to item number 7, monthly reports. In this meeting, it will be the LNC report followed by the committee reports. I do not see Mr. McGee. That leaves me as the LNC Region 2 alt. And there's not a whole lot to report. There's been a whole lot of back and forth with the LNC and committee to remove Karen Ann Harlos as secretary. Then there were several judicial committee meetings where that was actually overturned. There's been a lot of hubbub on the business list about the LNC, whether they have or have not fully restored her rights as the secretary and as an LNC meeting. There is actually a special meeting scheduled January 26th at 7 p.m. via Zoom that Ms. McCardle has called to consider disciplinary action against the secretary, Karen Ann Harlos, and any related motions. No clue what that's about. It's very vague. I'm sure they're going to attempt one more time to get rid of her. And that's really where we're at. I understand that tomorrow in DC there is an inauguration party for Donald Trump, who is not the Libertarian Party candidate for president, but it is what it is. And that's all I've got. Any questions?
That's
All right. All right. Let's get down with committee reports. Starting with number 1, Rules Committee.
And remember, you got 1 minute. I'm timing.
Okay. So we didn't meet in December because of travel and obligations and just not being around. The Rules Committee is working on revisions to the governing documents, just, minor edits. We did find some differences between Robert's Rules of Order 12 and 11 that we'll need to course through and make some suggestions for the bylaws. And really, that's going to be the bulk of our work as a committee until the annual business meeting, is to make those recommendations for in advance of the annual business meeting. And that's all we have.
Nice job.
Mr. Papp. Mr. Papp.
I just have a question for Rules Committee. I've brought up probably to everybody's dismay the issue of minutes of executive meetings, closed session meetings, whether they are required and whether they are not required under Roberts. Whether Rules wants to adopt a special rule proceeding to exclude, so we don't have to do minutes, because we have had several executive sessions and I have yet to see notes or minutes or anything. So I think we should go one way or the other. A, we either require that in accordance with Roberts, or B, is we pass a special rule of procedure so that we don't have to have minutes of our executive sessions, one or the other. And I would like to ask that Rules Committee take that up.
Okay. Yeah, it's something we could take up. I will say that just off the top of my head, when we looked at this previously, when it came up in one of our previous executive committees, the Roberts section on minutes for executive committee meetings are such that the minutes are only viewed in the executive committee sessions. So it would be the secretary takes the minutes, and then at the start of the next session, she reads the minutes. You wouldn't be seeing those minutes at any other time.
That would be fine. I would prefer to be able to have those meeting minutes so as a historical reference, so that if I wanted to say, Joe Sokol said this at this meeting, and Joe said, well, I didn't say that at that meeting, there'll be minutes to say whether I'm right or he's right.
So I do have minutes, but
if you wish, propose where we don't have to have minutes of the meetings. At least this way we're consistent with Roberts. It should be one or the other. We're either consistent with Roberts, or else we pass a special rule procedure, or we're not consistent with Roberts. And I would look to Rules to be able to make that determination and make the proper recommendation.
Okay. Thank you.
We also record.
I would like to point out, if it's also possible to make a motion from the floor, if that's something you feel that strongly about, Mr. Paff. I mean, by all means, feel free. I mean, I don't know if the Rules Committee wants to take it up, but feel free to submit a motion from the floor.
Recommendation of the Rules Committee on what the proper procedure is.
Right. You're out of order, guys. We're out of order. The next person who should be speaking is Eric Cordova. There really aren't, I don't think we really have time for proposing things right now. There's Discord for that, and you can officially do it from
whether it's out of order or not. My name was raised up and the question was directed at me, so I thought it appropriate to answer. I'm sorry if I was out of order.
I'm just trying to move it along, that's all.
All right, guys, we're getting in the weeds, and let's move forward. So that brings us to affiliate support, Mr. Cordova.
All right, so it's actually nice to see Mike Smith on the meeting. He was a former member of the committee. He took leave from it. So honestly, I've kind of been doing it a little bit on my own. That's a little bit on me, because I know John Paff was also on the committee. So there's just some issue there. But here's what to expect in the coming weeks. This week, an email is going to be going out to region rep. What that email will be asking of the region rep. Oops, hold on. I think give me a second here. What will be expected of the region rep is to provide to me and to the committee which counties are looking for affiliate for the first time come the next couple of months. This way we can ensure that they have the proper documentation. Many of the counties already do. They have done it in the past. They know what to do. But just so we have record of it, those will be going out. If there are new committees looking to, county committees looking to establish, we want to be a resource to them, make sure that it's not, this is not the reason that they don't want to do it, because it can be. So look for that email this week, and please get back to me by the end of January so that we have a full 2 months to make sure that we're assisting the proper people. That's really the main thing. That would be the focus up through March for the committee. So I'll take any questions anyone has.
Seeing no hands, let's go audit. Mr. Cortzer is not here. Mr. Thompson, would you like to say something on behalf? I know Mr. Cortzer is dealing with some stuff and is excused. I don't know if you have anything.
I'll just say we looked at the contracts that that convention committee put together, and they are same templates that we've used in the past, and they address our general concerns as an audit group.
Awesome, thank you, sir. Candidates, Mr. Hanoush.
All right. So January, special elections we got going on. We have in U.S. House District 1, Stan McDaniels as a qualified candidate as a write-in candidate. So that's basically the peninsula area. The election date is April 1st. If you guys up in the Panhandle want to help him out, please do so. Same goes for U.S. House District 6 with Andrew Parrott. Again, April 1st. This is like the central East Coast area. So south of St. Augustine, Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, like parts of Lakeland, Marion. So those kind of areas there. Please help him out if you can. And for 2025, there's none currently filed that I'm aware of for the regular 2025 elections. We have a current elected city commissioner whose term is up in 2025, Jim Turney. We'll see if he's going to run for re-election. 2026, we actually have 3 filed candidates for 2026. Ralph Groves for U.S. House District 11. Again, help him out there. Grover, hold on. Oh, damn it. I got the wrong website there. I got to fix that on my report. Anyway, so Ralph Groves there. Scott Jewett for governor. He's filed for 2026 again. Scott Jewett, that's 2Ts.com. So reach out if you want to help him out. Grover Bentley running for state house in 2026 again. District 33, that's the Brevard area. GroverBentley.com. I got feedback from a candidate from the 2024 candidate surveys. I'm probably going to run out of time, so I'm not going to go through all that. But if you want to see their airing grievances, go to my report. And yeah, if you want to have any questions, comments, concerns, etc., contact me at candidates@lpf.org or wherever Joe Hanoush may be found. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hanoush. That brings us to communications. That would be me. We are right now focusing on helping Mr. Parrott with the website for his campaign. I've got to get with him this week on pushing the domain to the new website, which we've already wired up. Same thing with Stripe. We are working quite a bit regarding the convention that's coming up in June. We just finished the theme contest. The winning theme for that, I'll let the convention committee chair take care of, but I know it raised over $2,000, most of which was raised the last night of the the theme contest by the Swamp Creatures for former Chair Josh Klofka and former Vice Chair Tim Crosby. So thanks to those guys who are no longer Florida residents and still wanted to contribute to our convention. We are sending emails regarding fundraising, membership, volunteers, convention quite frequently, and that's pretty much what we've got going on. Last but not least, in March, just a heads up for the entire EC, we are up for renewal for our Nation Builder agreement. I am working with their people to see about getting us the best rate possible, so that without losing any of our shiny tools for our candidates, affiliates, and so on and so forth. That's all I've got. Any questions for communications? All right, that brings us to convention committee. Miss Johnson.
Hey, so we have, as already said, we have some of our contracts, the majority of our contracts through audit, and they are up for vote tonight and for the EC. We have a t-shirt design in the works. Theme contest is a wrap, and it actually raised just under $2,000. It was like $1,989 or something like that, but right at 2,000. We're a steam train. We're moving right along. I would like to add that if anyone has any questions about the progress, there are multiple ways you can reach me or anyone on that committee for questions or ideas or thoughts. I guess that's about all I have for now. I'll defer any questions to respect time, since there will most likely be discussion on my motion.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Anybody have questions for that? All right, that brings us to fundraising. Mr. Nicholson.
Thank you. Well, the fundraising committee, the reconstituted fundraising committee, met in middle of December. Myself, David Moskript, and Lisa Gansky. One of the things we're working on, and in the past, we've always had a annual Christmas holiday party as a big fundraiser, and as we know, that did not occur. So in lieu of one party in one part of the state, we have decided to break it up and do 4 quarterly events. The first one being in early March in Palm Beach. And in June, we will have the fundraising party in Daytona during the convention. And September and December to be determined, more likely in the one in the Tampa area and the other one in Jacksonville. And just make it easier for everyone in the state to come to one of these events. That's whatever, instead of having it in one location as big of the state as we have. So we're working on that. We'll have that finalized. I know we have a meeting after this meeting tonight for the fundraising committee, and we're finalizing the location for the March one in Palm Beach. One other thing, what Lisa had done is she had set up a link for each EC member, a fundraising link for our socials. If you haven't received one, reach out to Lisa. We'll put it on all your socials, whatever ones you use, your signature page and your email. It's a great way to, get the word out to try to raise some more money as we try to dig ourselves out of a hole here for fundraising. But that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholson. Any questions for fundraising from anybody?
Mr. Nicholson, you're not doing something separate in June, right? You're like in affiliation with convention?
Yeah, it's going to be part of the convention. We will discuss that, and we'll be in touch with you and your committee for that. Yes, it's going to be during convention, at convention, which details will follow. But we'll be working with you on that. Okay, great. Thank you.
We're not having a competing convention, if that's what you were asking.
Just making sure.
All right. Legislative Action Committee is not here. That brings us to membership. Dr. Mejias.
So basically what I've been working on since July or so is in doing campaigns to try to get people who are not registered libertarians to change to libertarians. And sent about a total of 85,000 emails into several different campaigns. Now, the most recent one is probably the most interesting one and one of the most successful ones, but that doesn't mean that we are getting as much as we'd like to get. So, for example, in the most recent ones, we had 31,695 emails sent and got 11 people who changed to the LPF, which was 0.0347% in this case.
5-second warning.
What was that?
5-second warning.
Time is up.
5 seconds.
It
Well,
was
I
at
can't.
6.
Maybe
it was at 6.
this is far too much longer than that. I can't possibly finish it and make any sense out of it.
Okay, we'll
You
look.
have to read it because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to make a shorter speech, and I thought I could do it in a minute, but but no, it requires some explaining.
Who's next?
Let me get back to the agenda. Sorry about that. Platform is the last one. Mr. Thompson.
Yes. So, we don't have a platform committee. I monitor the emails, and if there's anything that comes up, we could start a committee to handle any additional platform items that want to come up. To date, there has been no requests that have come into the platform at lpf.org email to address any of our current platform links. Please, everybody, if you have any issues that you want or believe that we should have a specific link on, please feel free to write up something and send it into the platform, and we'll discuss with Mr. Johnson, the chair, and see what we can do in terms of addressing the members' concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That brings us, that's the end of the reports. Officers, director at large, and region reps, that will be next month's meeting. Chair's consent agenda, item number 8, appointment and removal of committee members. The only thing we've got here is Stacy Keene is no longer on the membership committee. And I assume we have to take a vote on that. So all those in favor of removing Ms. Keene from the membership committee, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried, or chair's consent agenda item carries. Item number 9, new business election of a deputy treasurer. Are there any nominations for a deputy treasurer? I do want to point out that our current treasurer, Mr. Sokol, is leaving us as a no later than date at convention and will not be seeking re-election. He has informed me personally that if we can get a deputy treasurer that he can get trained, he would probably resign sooner. I see 2 hands up. Mr. Sokol, yours was first, and then Ms. Gansky, you're next.
Okay, I'm not going to nominate anybody tonight. We did have somebody named Wanda Hyatt. Don't know her. She expressed interest. I'm going to contact her. Joe Hanush expressed interest. So next month, I might be nominating both of those people.
Thank you, Mr. Sokol. Ms. Gansky.
Yeah, I know there was, and I haven't asked her or approached her, but I think somebody should talk to Wendy Hamlin. I think she does dual secretary treasurer role. She's been active with convention, and so I thought she might be a good person because she's been starting to get active. So
I actually have, I would say it, but I think Mrs. Johnson is going to actually have something to say regarding that. Go ahead, Beth.
I've actually talked to Wendy at length about the possibility of her taking on the treasurer role, and she, with her personal work and everything else that she's doing to try to save her affiliate and everything that she's doing on convention, is not willing or able to take on treasurer for the LPF at this time. But I won't make the nomination, but I would just like to go on record to say I would support the nomination of Joe Hanush for treasurer, for deputy treasurer and treasurer, based on what I know of him for the past 2 years that I've been active with the LP Volusia affiliate and his integrity and thoroughness, I don't believe he would do anything fiducially irresponsible for the LPF.
So are you nominating him right now?
I wasn't planning on doing an official nomination, but if that's what's called for, Joe, if you feel like you need time to talk to this other person to get
I'll
to know
second
her.
that. I'll second it.
I think we should wait. Just saying. I think we should.
Mr. Hanush has his hand up, so I'll let him speak to that, and then we'll move along. If he said no right now, then yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I didn't know if it was allowed for an EC member to also be deputy treasurer, so that was one question I had. The other one is just a statement, and I don't know who this person is that was mentioned, and I'm not trying to be favors here, so I'm just saying this completely objectively. I'm not in favor of someone being the treasurer or eventual treasurer who I've never heard of before. That's just my personal opinion.
I would have the same personal opinion, given no offense to this person, whoever they are, I don't know who they are, but given past experience, I would be gun shy as well. But Beth, your hand is still up on accident or intentionally, and then otherwise, oh, Mr. Sokol.
It was on accident, but I will say that picking somebody that nobody really knows is kind of how we got into the situation with Brianna. So I would hesitate.
Mr. Sokol.
Don't know her either. Just I did check out her LinkedIn account. She's got both a bachelor's and a master's in accounting. She's a QuickBooks specialist and a QuickBooks trainer, certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. That's all I know about her. So obviously the EC is going to make that decision. Just thought I'd bring that up.
Can we do a little due diligence and make sure she's credentialed, and then we table this till next month?
Yep, no nominations have been made to my knowledge. I think that's a fantastic idea. Is she a member? Has she taken the NAP pledge? Is she registered LPF? Is she a resident of Florida? Those things are all super duper important, other than the fact that her LinkedIn profile, in my opinion, no offense, Joe, I don't mean anything by that. I'm just saying those things far outweigh what a LinkedIn profile may say, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I understand.
Mr. Moskrip.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, and if she wants this, can we also make it a requirement that maybe she's actually on the next meeting so that we can ask her questions about her experience?
I'm happy with that as well. All right, so it sounds like there are no nominations at this time, so that we can do due diligence leading up to next month. I'm good with that. Moving right along with the orders of the day, that brings us to item number 9 on the agenda, motion number 847. The mover is Beth Johnson on behalf of the convention committee. This is a motion to approve additional convention agreements / expenditures. Ms. Johnson, I assume this, I don't assume, I know that this passed out of committee, so it does not require a second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
I'm happy to speak to the motion. They're pretty straightforward. As John mentioned during the audit report, there's essentially the same template contract that we've used in previous year's convention. We're going to bring Spike as our quote unquote headlining speaker. We're doing a comedy show. We've chosen to use local comics to Volusia and Daytona Beach due to financial benefits, honestly. And we are bringing Karen Ann Harlos as our parliamentarian. And I will be upfront to say that we've asked her to perform as parliamentarian to the chair at the chair's benefit, or however you word that. But she has also offered to do breakout sessions or be a speaker at no additional charge. Although we have not asked her to do that yet, we may still, because why look a gift horse in the mouth? So having said all that, we are still well under previous year's convention budget. Everything my committee has done has been with nothing but the interest of fiducial responsibility for the LPF and interest in actually earning some money this year if we can. So I'm happy to entertain any questions you guys have, any concerns. And after this meeting, if you still have questions or concerns, again, I'm always available for discussion.
Mr. Hanoush.
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick. I was going to be a no vote on this actually due to like some what I felt was unnecessary expenditures, which led to unprofitable previous conventions. But I was talking with the convention chair, Beth, and she expressed confidence in favorable ROI. So I'm currently a yes on this, and I'm hopeful for a profitable convention.
Thank you, Mr. Hanoush. I too would like to just really quickly say, you know, the last few years conventions have been structured in a way that is definitely going to be different from this year. Our food and beverage is going to be cut way down because we're not doing breakfast, lunch, dinners with all these speakers. I think that's a huge cut in expenses, and so our convention is going to look way different this year. You'll notice in the agreement, there's only one headline speaker, but the cool thing about it is, with the cost of the one headline speaker, we're going to get multiple paid events, ticketed events out of this one speaker that can be extremely profitable if this agreement is passed. For example, there's a fishing trip in the works. Spike is a pescatarian. There's the offshore fishing trip in the works. There may or may not be a sponsor to cover the entire cost. So anything raised by that from the ticket sales of that would be 100% profit to the LPF. There's a shooting event in the works. Those are always good things. We've been told to, I'm not going to use the I'm not going to say WHORE him out, but that's what we've been told to do by his people. And we are the only state convention in the entire country that he is going to attend this year because most of his efforts have been with You Are the Power, and that's where he's focusing on right now. So I am also urging a yes vote on this. Any further discussion? All right, to the votes we go. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And I'm also an aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Mrs. Johnson, you have your agreements. Get those out, get them signed, get them back, and let's get the stuff updated on the website. As soon as you get those back, I will add that to the website.
First thing in the morning. Thank you, everyone.
Item number 10, old unfinished business. Joe, do we need to do any?
Mr. Chair,
Sir.
Your added motion.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So
Do you want me to?
the motion, I'll scroll up and read it. Motion to adopt the engagement letter with CPA firm Garcia and Ortiz. Mover Matt Johnson. Motion language, I move that we adopt and sign the engagement letter if needed.
It's yeah, at the very end, it's just if necessary. Yeah.
Okay. With Garcia and Ortiz in order to complete the 2024 compilation if needed. Again, the rationale is pretty simple. We've historically just rubber stamped this one. They've always done the compilation. Obviously, the if needed part has now been added because we don't know if it's necessary. If we can do it ourselves and Mr. Sokol will volunteer that, then it's not even necessary to do. So that gives us some time to research whether it's necessary or not. And with that, we'll leave the floor for you guys. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Is there a second? That's the most important part. Before
I'll
discussion.
second it.
Thank you, Mr. Sokol. Any further discussion? Mr. Hanoush.
I was just gonna say, should we add a time limit? Like, what's the when we will have an answer if we're going to do it, or if we're going to reach out to the CPA?
I mean, I think we could probably have an answer by our next meeting. So if you'd like to amend the motion to include no later than February 16th, we can do that.
Okay, I'll make that motion. The amendment to the motion.
Okay, I'll second it. No later than February 16th. Any further discussion on the amendment to the motion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? The amendment carries. Main motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. All those opposed? Motion carries. So we will do the research between me and Joe. We can get together and do some research and see if it's necessary. And then if it's not necessary, then I'll rescind the motion next meeting, or motion to rescind it or whatever.
I don't know that you need to, because it's.
Oh,
only-
that's right. Only if needed. Correct. Good point. Thank you. Notice item number 11. Actually, we don't need to go into executive. We've already handled that business, right, Mr. Sokol? Or do we need to go into executive session regarding the other issue that is still?
I don't think there's anything we could accomplish, to be honest with you. I have nothing, if you're asking me.
I will say that I have reached out to him personally several times, looking for an address, an accurate address, and I have not received a response at all whatsoever. So I agree with you. I think either we shit or we get off the pot. We either file an FEC complaint or we consider ourselves screwed in that matter.
I agree.
And I will leave that to the body.
Are we deciding if we do executive session now to make that decision, or are we postponing to February?
No, I will. I mean, we don't have to make that decision now. We don't even have to go into executive session. We can, we all know the issue and who it is and what it's regarding. So if somebody wants to put it on the agenda for next month to either take action or don't take action, then that's where we're at, I think, at this point. Because I don't think no amount of phone calls, emails, Twitter DMs, or anything is going to get a response. I think if we want to be made whole again, then we have to take it a step further. I don't know that filing charges, because then you have to prove intent, and who knows? A civil matter is a waste of our money, in my opinion. So I think really, in my opinion, the only course of action would be an FEC complaint. And is that really going to accomplish anything? Mr. Moskrip and then Mrs. Johnson.
Yep, I would just like an FEC complaint to show the issue, just so that there's some kind of official record of it. And
I would not be opposed to that personally.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know the amount of work I put into this issue, and I'm very frustrated. So I would be very happy for there to be a record for future warning if necessary.
I would be amenable to that. Miss Johnson.
I echo Mr. Mosgrave's sentiment, so that's all.
All right. So I would say, Mr. Sokol.
I think we should discuss this in executive session next time.
Okay.
Some of the things I may bring forth probably should be in executive session.
Okay. All right. Ms. Skansky, you want to make note of that for next month, that we will in fact discuss this issue in executive session. That brings us to notice. The next executive committee meeting will be held, as I mentioned, February 16th via Zoom at 7:30 p.m. Next item would be announcements. Are there any announcements? Any candidates in the house want to plug your campaign one last time?
Why, yes, I would love that. So as we may have heard earlier, Matt Johnson has said that we're going to have our website up very, very soon, and we're going to be able to accept donations, which is another good thing. We will be taking any and all reservations for speaking engagements. If you'd like to have me come out for anything in Region 6, of course, I will be happy to do that. If you've got a church group, spoke with the Convention of States earlier today, and they're amenable to something in February. So that is going to be something that will be announced later on. I believe they're going to be meeting somewhere in Lake County. So that's going to be fun times. But let's get this thing going and get as many people as we can. Tell all your Democrat friends, especially, that hey, it's not going to work. Come here. We're on your side more so than you may think. So that's really pretty much it. But anyone who does need to reach out to me, phone number is 352-216-8425. Also at parrotforcongress@gmail.com. And that's going to be, those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. Just, yep. Thank you, Joe, for dropping that in the chat. So you can copy that out of there. And April 1st is coming around faster than we expected. So not a lot of time. And I do appreciate Mr. Mosgroup's offers earlier for graphics help, which I will desperately need. Saved me from learning another thing about how to do a thing. So, all right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any announcements? Anything going on in your affiliate? Anything you'd like to announce? Going once.
George Fest for the Lake County affiliate will be February 22nd. I know that's going to be, they will probably be looking for extra bodies to help with tabling and any tabling materials that could be handed over to them. They would greatly appreciate that. So that's going to be at George Fest in Eustis.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. One last announcement from me regarding convention. The room block, get your rooms booked before they sell out. It's in Daytona Beach. During summer, you'll be on summer vacation if you have kids, so make a vacation out of it. Tickets are going to be a little more different. They're definitely going to be a lot more cost effective. If you see something on there, go ahead and get your tickets as well. That said, item number 13, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Joe, seconded by Mr. Nicholson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? I didn't think so. We are adjourned at 8:34 p.m.